Good morning, Mr. Reed. Episode what?
Stop.
Sorry,
stop.
Is that coming through? And he's holding his phone up. It's the king coming in.
Episode 50.
I know, look at that 50 on the old TV there.
Who would have thunk it?
Mate, 50 episodes.
I better turn this noise down now because otherwise I'll get...
Keep fanfaring.
My fanfare, my beeps, my what.
Fanfaring the nation.
That's the one.
Mate, I like your preparation.
I know, I have to say episode 50, my friend.
Admittedly, you were fumbling around just then before we started. I didn't know what you were doing.
Don't spoil us.
I didn't know what you're doing. But no, sorry, you're up since 5 a.m, but you have got a sheet of paper, which I'm intrigued about. So you do your prep, in fairness.
I do.
50 episodes in. We don't just throw it together.
We do not. Well, first of all, I must ask, how was your holiday?
Holiday was great. North Wales, what a place.
Is it in North Wales?
It is.
Right,
We
okay.
were in the northern west bit of someone like, how do you describe it? There's like a peninsula that sticks out below Anglesey. And I described it as the armpit of Wales. Which then I was like, that doesn't
make it sound
very nice.
No.
It was beautiful.
Oh, fabulous, my friend.
Absolutely incredible. Loads and loads of beautiful beaches. It was awesome.
So most importantly for me, did you manage to have some downtime? Switch off completely?
I did not go in my emails.
What?
The entire time.
Oh, my
I went
Lord.
in our centralised inbox for one thing, and I did have to take one call during it. But the Adam inbox did not get touched. I refused to touch it.
That's great stuff.
You know, a few things on WhatsApp and this, that, and the other, but really very, very minor. So massive thank you to Alina and Jess, and of course, Jill,
Mummy,
my mum, who did an incredible job. It was great. It was
just
great.
a small question to Alina. He didn't notice all the parties we had, did he? No, not exactly.
Parties?
Nothing. Move on.
Okay. I did wonder. They seemed a lot happier when I came.
Well, you know, mate.
And then the happiness disappeared immediately when I walked in the door.
Good.
We had an incredible break.
And the kids all good and Corey all good.
Yep, absolutely awesome. We just had, we just had the most incredible time. It was great.
That's good.
It was great. We did this thing called paddle boarding.
Is it you're on a board and you paddle?
Yeah. So you're meant to stand up. I say meant to stand up. I was very good at nose diving and face planting off the front of it because I'm quite top heavy. I'll be honest.
That's a lovely way of putting
Corey
it.
and the kids absolutely fine. Me, face plant straight over the board.
So you knelt down.
Yeah, I did a lot. Yeah, but he also had like a seat that you could turn into a kayak and stuff like this. So that was quite good. But it was very apt because we've been watching Saving Lives at Sea as well.
Oh,
and there's numerous paddleboarders that get blown out to sea.
And was this in the sea?
It was in the sea.
Was it a tiny bit cold?
No, mate. You know me and my cold plunges.
Oh, yeah. You were thinking,
every day.
Excuse me, can you turn this down a little bit?
Yeah,
it's too warm.
Too warm. Well, after doing that Stoltman's one, which was like 0.5 degrees, by the way, that is the coldest thing I've ever done. Strangely nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was doing cold plunging all the time. Good. I'm just waiting for, not that I want summer over, I need our air temperatures to drop a bit. So my cold pod, not sponsored, but if you want to sponsor us, summer temperatures drop on there.
Yeah,
because I do like a cold dip.
Nope, not for me, I'm afraid.
What have you been up to?
Well, considering it's our 50th episode, I didn't really realise I've been flat out working.
I know you have.
We caught up yesterday for about 15 minutes, and it was like you just said, "How's it been?" And I went. So it's been fantastic in terms of the amount of work we've managed to get through.
We completed a project together.
More celebration. I should have got that. Yeah, that was better. Lovely Sarah Muir, the Archers website, looking cracking, my friend. A job well done, sir.
Thank you very much. We need to get Alina cued on those buttons. Round of applause.
Yeah, round of applause.
That was a great project.
And Sarah is well pleased with it. I know that.
Yeah, she said that herself, which was lovely to hear. Really interesting project in terms of lifting what was there, but had to build it new. Yeah, and keep some of the styling things, which posed challenges and stuff like this. But we did it. So
absolutely,
really happy with that. So that project's great to be
done.
And
our collaboration seems to be moving forward. We've now got a new gentleman, Be Lighter, Mr. Ben.
Yes, Mr. Ben.
Mr. Ben.
That's what we're doing yesterday. Hi, Mr. Ben.
Hi, Mr. Ben.
Yeah,
57 Charleston Street. no, 57 Festive Avenue.
This is the cartoon animation,
yeah.
not our Mr. Benz.
No, he doesn't live at 57 Festive.
Yeah.
But no, that seems to be going well. He's he's caught up
we've
doing that.
as I said yesterday, doing lots of web at the moment. So staging's all built out,
Nice,
ready to go. We're just in amendment stage.
Lovely.
Pushed another client website live yesterday.
Good.
Which was like a I call it like a reskin.
Yeah.
And a bit of an uplift in places with more offers and like some service offers and things like that. And then got another 2 or 3 in the pipeline.
Goodness me, my friend.
Yeah, it's been
so
good.
winning business even whilst you've been on holiday.
Yeah, well, I came back to on Monday and there was an inquiry going, hey, could you come and photograph over at the Hullabaloo again, over at Park End?
Very nice.
Over there.
Yeah.
So I was in there doing, they had this deep sea adventure. Honestly, if you've got young kids, check out the Hullabaloo. If you're across Tees Valley, they've got Park End, Family Hub, and they're in Skelton Family Hub. They've got like their own. It's like a room for their various installations. But obviously in Darlington, I'd love it. It's some of the best stuff. You just go and photograph the amazing work that people have done, because these are artists that have created these creative spaces. It's funny when I'm walking around with the cameras. I like so this one was like the sea floor. So there's like a rock cave thing that the kids could crawl through, and a big fish that they could go inside. One of those ones with the dangly thing off their head.
Anglerfish.
That's the one. Yeah, I've been trying to remember it. Big anglerfish with its mouth open. You can crawl in and
that's great.
hit things inside and make sounds. But as you're walking around, there's always like footpads on the floor
that
are like disguised as seaweed in this case. And I stood on it and it starts going in the room. So I kept setting those off every few minutes.
So you definitely hit the ground running now that you're back.
I did, yeah.
So swimming in this particular case.
Do you know what it is today? After I finish here with you, I have an hour, by the way, is I need to be over at the Education Village GCSE results day today.
Of course
so good luck
it is.
to everybody.
Good luck to everybody.
Expecting their results, so I need to dash across there.
Are you expecting A pluses or anything yourself?
Well, it's 1s, 2s, and 3s now.
Is it now? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
it
gosh, I'm showing my age.
But I'm going to go and take some photos of hopefully happy students.
Celebrating students.
Yeah, and go from there. So very busy. Oh, paper.
With it being our 50th episode, my friend.
Yes.
I thought I'd spring a quiz on you.
Thanks.
I knew you'd be...
Okay. I fancy it. I fancy my chances.
Okay, here we go, my friend. So a little bit of history, going back over a couple of our 50 episodes. So, are you ready? Fingers on buzzers, please, even though you're the only one.
Pretend Lena. She doesn't pay attention, it's just me.
Okay, question number 1, my friend. When was our very first episode?
Whoa, as in date published?
Date published.
Jeez, man. I'm going to say 26th of July.
Nope, 25th of August,
Right.
2023. You weren't bad. You weren't far off.
Okay, 25th of August. Ooh. It's 22nd today when we're recording.
I know, that's what I said.
Right,
it's really clever, isn't it? Who was our very first guest?
Who was our very first guest? God. Let me think. Yeah, I know. I have no idea.
Hannah Worsley from Hannah Worsley Consultancy.
Yes,
Lovely Hannah. Who was our very first guest of 2024?
2024. This is going to be a great quiz, by the way, for me. 2024.
I will give you some clues.
Yeah.
You play rugby with him.
Oh, Mr. Wade.
Mark Wade.
Yes.
He was our very first guest of 24.
It's all amalgamates in a one.
Absolutely. What was Mark's contribution to our podcast that made us giggle?
Wee nut. If you have a nut that you don't know, you finished your truck building. He's qualified.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you finish your truck back together and you find a nut,
it's left over.
It's left over. It's called a wee nut
because it goes over your shoulder.
Wee. So yeah.
Who was our surprise visitor in episode 22?
Nick.
Yes.
Hobbly
wobbly Nick. You literally pulled him in. It's like, Nick, come in.
Nick had just done his Achilles, hadn't he?
Absolutely. Well done. So
we just saw him going past on crutches. We dragged him in the room.
Bless him. It was probably not the right thing to do whilst he was on crutches, making him suddenly turn.
We offered him a seat.
I know we did. Okay. What do the following episodes have in common?
Okay.
Episode 41, Lightning, Pay and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
episode 35, Trident Manor, and episode 30, From One Side of the World to the Other.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand. So Bitcoin. I actually saw Rob's clip pop up the other day.
Yeah.
Great episode. If you're interested in knowing a little bit more about Bitcoin, I think that goes some way to help you understand what Bitcoin
definitely.
is. Like, is it just a made-up computer money? Well, we kind of delve into all of that.
No.
So look for the Bitcoin one. But a video popped up last night, actually, of Rob
There you
talking
go.
about his Lightning Network stuff.
So well done. The answer was New Zealand. But what was specific about episode 35, Trident Manor and New Zealand? Ah, you see.
Blank.
So New Zealand,
Yeah.
Andy Davis from Trident
Yeah.
Manor.
Oh, he was there when I was there.
He was there when you were there in New
Yeah.
Zealand.
And
We didn't
know.
realise.
In fact, I was actually probably in the same
Probably
location
in-
as him
Absolutely.
one of those days.
One of those days, my friend. Here's an interesting one. Now, how many guests have we had on the podcast? Now, this is a trick question because we've had one episode. But let me just say, let me break it down for you.
I get
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
So
But
is that counted as one?
No. So how many guests have we had on individual episodes, ignoring the Great North Ambulance one?
Which where we had 15 in
15
one
in
sitting.
total, yeah.
Okay. I am going to say 19.
One off.
Was that
20.
20?
20.
Oh, wow.
We've had 20 people.
That's
and
brilliant.
then if you include the 15 guests, which actually is 16 because we had that lovely lady from the Great North
We did,
Ambulance,
yes,
that's
of course. Yeah, we
36
did one of those.
guests we've had.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
36 guests.
Thank you to each and every one. by the
Thank
way.
you very
Amazing
much. Thank
stories.
You. Thank you very much indeed. What were the two highlights you remember from episode 15 with Hillary from Bevan Vat?
This is the one. Well, the one highlight is me. Well, was me saying it was about the marshmallows and cakes and all
Correct.
this and VAT. So like,
Yes.
if you buy marshmallows in the confectionery aisle,
Correct.
they are subject to VAT.
Yeah.
If you buy them in the bakery aisle, they
They're
are not.
not.
The other thing that then jumps in was me saying, because about hot food, if you buy hot food,
that's right, correct.
Yeah, so it's the pizzas off the counter. If
Correct,
you buy them
well
hot,
done.
buy them hot, subject to VAT. Buy them not hot, not subject to VAT. And I was saying, what if I buy a hot one and go and cool it down and then go through the checkout? Does that count? Yeah.
No, it doesn't, by the way.
No, it doesn't.
No, it
It
doesn't, by the way. What has been our most consistent theme throughout the podcasts?
Tech.
That's funny, but not true. No.
Most consistent business development type.
You are really close. It's one thing that we constantly
Teams.
talk. No, by teams. By
We say teams every
by
episode,
teams.
though.
No, it's the other one where we constantly think you must find a
Trusted partner.
Well
yes,
done.
of course. Yeah, find your trusted partners. 100%.
100%. Okay, last question, mate. You've done very well, by the way.
All right, thank you.
And I'm sorry to bring this up. What is your evil villain alter ego?
Oh, God, I'm the chipmunk guy, the evil guy at the chipmunks. Yeah, that
Yes.
was what I got called.
Well,
out
there
on
we go.
TikTok.
You did very well, my friend.
But what an interesting journey podcast. I asked Andy, I said at the start of the podcasting journey, Andy, give me 6 weeks.
And I gave you those 6 weeks. And now I'm
Now we're
on
on a-
pain. No.
Yeah, here's my inbox. Yeah, so commit for 6 weeks.
Oh, no, absolutely, my friend.
Let's get it.
I got some more stuff, by the way, you're going to
Have you?
enjoy. Yeah.
It wasn't even a question, though, really.
It wasn't, to be fair. You went, can you do me a favour? Yes, come here and sit down for 6
Thing
weeks.
is, we were having these talks anyway.
We were, funnily enough, even when you said, can you commit to me to 6 weeks? I'm like, well, to be fair, we're almost meeting every 2 or 3 times a month, and we're having these chats anyway.
In fact, our meetings were more like what we did yesterday. Because yesterday we had to do something together around a computer. Like Andy had his laptop, I had my laptop. I was
it
sorting
was
out
the domain MX records for Be
yeah,
Like It.
so
Yeah, yeah.
connecting Teams and
Microsoft
Office and all that.
365, yeah.
So I've got control of one thing. Andy's got control of the Office thing. We're putting numbers in on one side and he's putting numbers in the other side and making sure it works because it's just the quickest way.
Yeah.
But then we had a little chat afterwards.
Yeah.
And then we go about our day. Now, that was happening with varying degrees every day. It's almost like we'd have a chat and we might have 2 or 3 chats, but you'd end up going down the rabbit hole and various things like we do on this podcast.
Very true.
And then we're like, well, if we just formalise it into this, we're probably committing the same amount of time to talking anyway.
Yeah.
We did it. It's been great. I mean, what's really interesting is I was a guest on Our Darling Town podcast
wonderful.
the other week with
the
the Carvers, and they've, we've had the pleasure of obviously supporting their podcast.
Very good.
But it amazes me how, because people have often gone. I'm actually at Teesside Expo in a couple of weeks presenting on podcasting.
Good.
Because the experience that I've seen has been so interesting. Like, people do, like, I had someone message me going, I didn't realise you do that. Like, and it's because I'd listened to the podcast. The other thing was a bloke and a lady from Stable Hearth. Sorry, forgive me, I can't remember the names. It'll come back to me. They came in.
Right.
I'm looking forward to listening to their episode.
So they've hired podcast.
No, they were part of the Our Darling Town.
Okay, right.
So as she walked in, I went, "Hi, I'm Adam. Nice to meet you." And she went, "I know who you are," because she listened to the previous. And it freaked.
That was scary, though.
Yeah, and I was a bit like, God, imagine what I kind of. Like, wow, all right, yeah. She's like, "Yes, I know all about you." I was like, "Okay." I'm hoping from the podcast.
It's probably from the evil chipmunk thing.
Yeah, yeah. She's like, "I know all about you."
Yeah.
So what it's allowed us to do, and that's with our clients when we're running this space, or whether it's us, you're just lifting the lid on, like we had Howard in.
Oh gosh, unbelievable!
But it's
Howard
kind
Lind,
of like how on earth would you have time to? I think that's the longest I've had time to talk to Howard.
Yes.
And that's not because I don't care. It's not because we're...
No, he's busy. You're busy.
We've dedicated some time, and then we found out some really interesting things. Like, it's amazing what it can do, because you're actually dedicating time to finding out about other people.
Yeah. The bit that I found really interesting is that out of a lot of the visitors that we've had, I think we've had... I'll probably get this number wrong, but about 4 or 5 of the visitors that were like, well, this is my very first podcast. Every single one of them was like, I will not be able to talk for an hour. And then every episode we've gone, well, leisure hour up. And they've gone, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it is just a chat.
Yeah, it is.
And they've like, but I can't talk about, if we think Hillary, I can't talk about that for an hour. If we think Liz Lawrence, I can't talk about marketing.
Hillary said she could talk.
To be fair. Sorry, Hillary.
The big bucks of that.
Yeah.
But you're
absolutely right. It was like, I'll never be able to talk about my topic and nobody's interest. Yeah, Mark
was one of those. And the fact that he is in a completely different industry to us, but using technology all the time.
Yeah, with his iPad and things like that.
Yeah, it was just like, it's interesting.
Honestly, mate, it's been fantastic. And of course, from your point of view, from Resilience point of view, if you remember that story, if I can quickly remind you, the one where I got a gentleman call me up after 30 years.
Yes.
Yeah, saying, I didn't know anything about you, Andy, but one of my customers asked, do you know anybody that does IT support? No idea. Saw that video reel on podcast from LinkedIn, and then put me in touch. And now that customer is a very good customer of mine, and that was all through the podcast.
Yeah, it's been I don't know, it's been fascinating. I mean, when we did it, I wasn't sure what pickup we're going to get, and we do all sorts of different.
Well,
podcasts.
still got 2 listeners.
Yep. Yeah.
Mark and your mum, although your mum doesn't listen anymore, does she?
No, she does actually. She has been listening to quite a few of them. But yeah, so it's been really interesting in terms of the journey. To the point we've even got like an Instax thing.
Yes.
We're on there where we're taking Polaroids, as people would know them, trademark.
Shake it like a Polaroid.
You don't shake it.
Oh, that's
you
right.
Don't
that's
shake
right.
it.
I'm going to do that email to Shout Outcast who sing the song. Go, no, false advertising.
Plenty of people have told them that. They've like misled people in terms of shaking it.
Anyway, just to interrupt again, a few, I've called them Andyisms.
Andyisms. Oh, here we go. Mate, it must be about 12 pages long.
No, I kept to the top 3. What type of ink did I say was on
edible? Edible ink. You're going to, for some reason, you thought you'd put edible ink on my head.
Instead of indelible ink.
Yep.
And that was from episode 34.
Was that Hillary's one?
No, it was Liz's.
Liz's, right, okay.
How many doors did I use to model a house in episode 43 with Carl Rutter?
Oh, God. It was all doors.
If you remember, I was meant to say 4 walls and a door, and I went 4 doors and a wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Carl looking very confused.
And
he's like, "You're never going to be a game developer,
ever." And what do I say that all the episodes make me feel like?
Lethargic. He meant cathartic. That was hilarious. That one.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm constantly getting my words.
Considering though,
Ronnie Barker says my worms mixed up.
yeah, exactly. We don't. As you could probably, you might be surprised to know, we don't cut and re-edit. It's like literally everything that we're doing goes out.
No, absolutely.
Pretty much. But
my son Dan.
Yep.
He's on next week. He wants to be a guest.
Is he coming on?
He's coming
Brilliant.
on. But he actually said to me the other week, he says, I'm really surprised when you do the podcast, you don't swear, Dad. But it's just something but it's just something that's triggering you not to do. Fascinating facts.
Go on then.
Go on. Do you know the following topics we have covered? And this is incredible, Adam. Wastewater, strategic marketing, HR, games level designing, Bitcoin, music.
Yes.
Is Jess on holiday?
She is on holiday.
Yeah, music. Security and risk management. I should ask you who these are now.
That's Trident.
Well done. Community-led regeneration. You may not know that one with respect because you were on holiday. That was Michael Jane's. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Business partnerships. And obviously that's with Simon and Simon Little and Jason Gurney. Bookkeeping with Louise Dark. Websites and data integration with Simon Crisp.
Yes.
Healthcare.
I loved that episode.
That was brilliant. Simon was just a wealth of knowledge. And who'd have thought that you could ask a customer to go, yes, can you build me a website? And then suddenly, actually, can you integrate it into our back-end systems? That was, honestly, mate, I was fascinated by that. Healthcare imaging with Des Ryan.
Yep.
EPOS, you know that one.
Yep, I do.
Use. Managed office space with Dan the Man.
Dan the Man that can.
Downstairs.
He will be coming back on.
Yeah. Obviously, truck management by our friend, Mark. And VAT from Hilary Bevan. Okay.
Plus business in a box.
We didn't have a...
I know, I just like that one.
I just like that one. To be honest, that was one of my favourite ones. We covered
I'm signposting business in a box. And I've actually got... a love for my bookshop that doesn't actually exist.
Those are the other questions. What was the name of our bookshop?
Adam's Rare Bookshop, if we're talking about it being me, or Andy's Rare Bookshop.
And what was the nickname that we give to our AI man?
Gary AI.
Gary
I know,
AI.
Because he still emails me.
He does, absolutely. And what I thought was really interesting is since we started the podcast, up until today, fascinating facts of what's happened. We recorded a White Christmas in December 2023. If you lived in Tulloch Bridge, Aviemore. Okay.
We don't.
No. We've had the coronation of King Charles.
We have.
The government has changed hands.
It has.
Yeah. Elon Musk's Neuralink implemented a brain-reading device into a person for the first time whilst playing chess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been playing Civilization.
Correct. We've had an extra day in February.
Yes.
Yeah. The Olympics were held.
They were.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
NASA's Ingenuity took off for its 72nd and final flight on Mars. Amazing technology was only expected to be able to handle 5 flights and last around a month, but it's lasted 3 years.
Really?
Yeah. Trump was found guilty of many things, but apparently that doesn't matter.
We'll avoid that one.
Yep. And he nearly got assassinated.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
We'll just say allegedly. Does that cover us?
That covers everything.
Yeah.
It nearly came home again.
The football.
The first private spacecraft landed on the moon. Odysseus moon landing. The first spacecraft to land on the moon in over 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe that really.
Walkery, safe word, forever chemical and swearbox were added to the latest update of the Oxford English Dictionary. So nearly a year's gone on, mate, and all of those things have happened.
Oh, you've missed one.
Which is?
You ate a massive Parmo at the players' sponsors' dinner at the rugby.
I couldn't finish it. It was massive. It was a massive.
It was massive.
Interestingly, and I mentioned this the other day, remember I said to you that whilst you invited me, because I sponsor you as part of your rugby, I met up with the lovely Mags Bradshaw.
Yes.
From Red Button Marketing.
Yes.
As of 2 weeks ago, she's now a customer.
Lovely Mags. Hi,
lovely Mags. We'll have you on the show as well.
Yeah, Mags will be coming on. But no,
bubbly Mags.
Mags is great. She was at the sponsors' dinner, like you say, wasn't she?
But what an absolute interesting journey. All the people.
It's interesting to see like the time going by, actually.
I think so, man. I must admit, I think my favourite episode was the Great North Air Ambulance, where me and you speed podcasted.
Yes. That
15 minutes.
Surprisingly exhausting.
I still haven't seen the clip of me and you going,
Yeah, I know. I don't know whether it made it out. Did it? It'll be on our hard disks somewhere.
Somewhere.
I'm
Can you
getting
dig
a
it
nod.
out, please, Aline? Sorry.
Yeah, we need to.
Can you dig it out, please? Talking away from the mic.
We need to do that.
But that was absolutely fantastic
That was
episode.
such a good episode.
The diversity of people, and I know that we met quite a few people.
Not that I've got this written down, but I have also used Linux for the first time, installing it onto
You did.
a laptop that wasn't working with Windows. I have got
stole two of my devices.
Yeah, I've got Spielberg sat in the office there.
Yeah,
that helps with the editing. What else have I done? Networking stuff. Mark changed his SSID on his Wi-Fi just off the episode that we did.
Off the episode.
Following that,
can I ask? Did he tell you he was going to do it, or was it
no,
like
he told me afterwards?
Never.
Yeah, he went, "I've done it. I've listened to what you said, and
he logged in and he changed it.
Yeah, and changed it." People might go, "Why?" I mean, you can call it whatever you want. That's just the name that the thing runs, but it's about security and not having default passwords to your router and all this sort of stuff.
Which I must admit, people, the manufacturers out there, they're getting better now. Not the admin or whatever like that. The password is actually quite complicated and it's random for each one, which is by far taking too long for manufacturers to do. Yeah. It should be that.
Yeah, it needs to be.
Yeah. What else?
We held our cybersecurity workshop thing.
We did. It was a very good success.
That was off the back of this, and that was great.
That was good.
Andy, so we haven't talked about what you did in that episode, in that live thing. Andy ransomwared his own machine.
I did. I infected myself with one.
Hang on.
I infected my machine with WannaCry. And how long did it take?
It's like 35 seconds.
35 seconds before my machine went, "You've been hit."
Yeah, and it locked it up. So Andy did it to a sandbox.
Sandbox, my virtual machine.
Imagine a cut-off a computer in the computer.
Yeah.
That so it doesn't. It's not in the rest of the computer. It's on like a virtual, as we call it, a virtual set. It's like having a separate computer.
Yeah.
And Andy infected that. In fact, he had so much fun doing that the day before. He just kept doing it over and over again.
I couldn't believe it.
Because it's stuff that you avoid. But it was alarming. How long did it take you to find that virus? Like,
I don't even want to say, but it was less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I managed to download it. Obviously, to be fair, the place where I downloaded it from was a legitimate site. And it said it was purely to allow what they call legitimate hackers and legitimate security people to figure it out. And however, no passwords, no nothing. I just went, I can download the WannaCry virus. Click. It came with all the relevant documentation to say, be extremely careful, only run this in a sandbox. Yeah. So I followed the instructions very carefully. However, I said to you, within 5 minutes, I downloaded one of the most hated pieces of malware ever.
Exactly. So full disclosure, leave it.
No, please
don't
do not do it. I do.
But
sadly, I think I know what I'm doing.
It was good. No, he does.
Thanks
he does.
for that,
You know
man.
more than me.
Thanks.
You know more than me.
I know.
He does. You did it under strict
very
protocols and this, that, and the other. But it was good to see for example purposes on how it works, because you never know how. I mean, WannaCry is probably the worst things that could.
The worst thing, I think, I must admit, whilst I probably shouldn't have, but I enjoyed the look on the people's faces when I went, "Oh, look," and it did look innocent, didn't it? It said, "I've downloaded this from what looks like a legitimate website." I double-clicked it, and I went, "Oh, the antivirus didn't run. Oh, well, never mind, no worries at all." And then I was like, "What's happening?" I saw files disappearing, and then that awful WannaCry, "You have been ransomware," and I could look around and people were like, "Oh my gosh!"
I said I needed to take a shower afterwards. That's how it makes me feel.
No, really was.
It was really good to sort of lean into that stuff and sort of address those topics. And really, we've also done stuff about mental health and social media.
Cyberbullying, we did that. That was a particularly dark episode.
Heavy.
But as you quite rightly said at the end of it, it's important that we don't shy away.
Where there's sun, there's shade. So
exactly. We've done a history of typewriters and photography.
I accidentally bought 3, please. Please don't tell my wife. She only knows of 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Corey.
Hello. The third one's hiding somewhere.
Yeah, it's actually under that curtain. Is it? There's one at home. There's one there, And there's
then the hidden one.
yeah, there's one at home. That's under the curtain. there.
Exactly. We went deep diving on the Wi-Fi, which is where Mark went and did that. But we also did ubiquity and how to do
cameras.
VLANs. Cameras. We did the lovely pop-up cameras that you brought.
I broke a chair.
That was hilarious. Leaning over, and he went, "Oh, I've managed to break one of the chairs. Did we repair it, or is it gone?"
It's gone.
It's gone to the great chair heaven.
Yeah, chair
in the
heaven,
sky.
which is currently the old studio room that we were in.
Oh, right.
That's where
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
go. But yeah, so
What else can I
it's
think? We've had Alina do the majority, but Jess has also done an episode when Alina was on holiday.
Yes. Yeah,
we
Jess
got
has
trained up.
produced an episode.
Yeah, Jess turned up and produced.
That was good, that.
It was
and,
good.
and the LXXI episode that Jess
That was
great as
really
well.
good. That was really good, obviously. How is LXXXXXXI?
XXI, she's on holiday.
Yeah.
But doing well.
Doing well, yeah.
Busy cranking music out.
Which
by
is
all accounts.
very positive.
Yeah,
That's
So
really good.
She's currently on holiday, but we'll
Well
see
deserved,
when we
shall
get-
we
Yeah,
say.
100%.
Yeah.
And then I think we need to get Alina on because in the time, and I don't know whether I've said it on this podcast, I said it on the Darlington College one that I host. Alina started her apprenticeship with us on the 6th of June, is that right? Yeah, 6th of June, 2022. Yeah.
Gosh, 2 years then, yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Alina finished her apprenticeship on the 6th of December, 2023.
And left on the 7th.
Nope, still here. But from the pretty much 2 years from her starting her apprenticeship fresh out of college to, the 2 year window. So that's like with 6 months employed work. Yeah, so not an apprentice, full-time employed. In 2 years, Alina went from starting her apprenticeship to editing the TV advert for Darlington College, which is now running on.
Telling me that, and
now
that's now running,
Sky.
isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to send me it so we can see.
Yeah, 100%. But there has been a lot of change.
Yes.
I was changing the studio every week.
How many times have we swapped studio?
Quite a few.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, it's been an incredible journey.
It has, mate.
What we're seeing with people and why they're doing podcasts, it's that whole thing about having time to talk to people, having time to lean into things, go into deep subjects. Because if people are really invested in what you do, or hearing a different story, you know, you can listen to it passively while you're, say, driving in the car,
absolutely,
or something like that, or working. And the level of storytelling that you can get into podcasting. I mean, if you think about all the hours that we've spent on this podcast and the amount of depth and interest and stories we've got into, it's actually quite fascinating.
Yeah, and I think you've hit the point there that people often say to me, but what's the point? For example, they've said, well, with my business, why would anybody listen to me? And I'm like, you're not in this business alone. You know, there's IT people, there is marketing people, there are VAT people, there are.
Yeah.
I said, you will find an audience. Yes, it takes a bit of commitment. Yes, there's a bit of commerciality. But if you can just get that one person, and I have got it, you know, that obviously that customer, but if Mark can pick up one piece of information about changing his SSID, which makes him more secure, then you know what, Adam, I'm going, do you know what? We've done it.
Yeah, it's
We've
been
helped
brilliant.
him.
I mean, the fact that we got invited to go and host at the Great
that tells us something.
That was a big thing. The fact he went, hey, why don't you come and do it live? And we're like, okay, can
we do that? But that was great. We took the episode. Was that the first time we've ever taken it on the road?
Yeah.
But then you've obviously
in the early in the early days, it was what did we do? Yeah, that's the first time we've taken this kit set up on the road. In the early days when it was me and you and that little mixer and recording to my laptop, and then Adobe Audition wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So I couldn't record on that. So I was just recording on Premiere Pro, like the voiceover function, which was nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
That's how we started. But yeah, in terms of taking all that on the road, that was the first one that we did, which has set us in good stead because we've since been at Sheffield and then went up into Gordon with the Stolten brothers.
How long was it before we started recording it? As in, sorry, on video.
On video.
Because the first couple...
first it was just audio,
Yeah.
Was it when we moved in? No, I think we started a couple there.
I think
it was like episode 4 we probably started putting the cameras on or something like that. Because then we're like, we can.
But
use
you
it for
must
short
have
form
seen
content.
or can I say, have you seen the podcast side of HubSpoke Media has that? You know, have you seen business coming in from that?
Obviously, Darlington Stream Space is a separate entity to HubSpoke. HubSpoke is like officially it's the media partner and it does all of that. and Darlington Stream Space sits on the other side of what I do. But yes, in terms of, getting someone to deliver, like people wanting podcasts, like we've got another one booked out today, for example, the demand for people doing it is the biggest challenge people face is that commitment.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of our clients can see guests pull out, so then what do they do? So they've done some on their own, they've managed to change guests, they've managed to do this.
Oh, absolutely, as we've done, yeah.
So there's that element to it. But the ones that we're seeing that are the best with consistency,
yeah,
and that's you are reliant on your guests.
No, absolutely, because obviously if we've lined a guest up, me and you haven't thought of a subject or a topic, so it's like
and if
so
you've
obviously
got 20 minutes notice,
and that obviously can be quite nerve-wracking for some people,
and it's a bit different when it's a single person talking to a single guest, because otherwise they've then got no one to bounce off. So for us, if a guest pulls out, it's not an issue. We'll go, right, what's our bank of ideas that we want to talk about?
Exactly.
And we'll go with one of those. But the ones where I'm seeing the biggest impact is where the guests, it's just having that consistency. Like they're never throwing the towel guys. Anthony and Craig.
Yeah.
They're doing absolutely wonderful things with never throwing the towel. And, we should probably get them in anyway.
No, that'd be good. That'd be a good
Talk
episode
about it,
as well.
but
Yeah.
Never in a Wildlife Stranger, I think,
Yeah.
would be then up with the Stoltmans, for example, and doing just some amazing
But obviously
work.
as well, the Darlington, the media stream space that you're doing, you've had the MP, Peter.
Yes, we've had political interest. We've had Peter Gibson was using it during
and that just came from a phone call out of the blue, didn't it?
just a cold inquiry,
Cold inquiry,
through
saying
the
I'd
office.
like to do a podcast.
Yeah, saying we want to do some filming. So he was in, Ben Houchen was in.
Yeah, and obviously great from Ben's point of view because the train station is just over the road, so he was obviously thinking.
Well, he was
perfect.
having a look at the project.
Correct. Yeah.
So it was like that was something I didn't anticipate. So
No.
it's been interesting because it's about giving people a platform to talk and do.
But was that in your mind when you very first came to say, "Me, you can give me 6 weeks"? Did you believe at that time it would spread into a separate branch of the business?
I was hoping that we would do more podcasts. I was aware that we were going to do it, and I was like, I want to lead the way by us doing one.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I could see how it would support your work, which
it has done,
and how it would support ours. As in, we sit here for an hour, talk, and then we've got some content to put out as well. It's not just about. Some of it's about long form episodes. Some of it's about content going out on social media on a regular basis. Complete honesty.
Yeah.
Because it generates some good talking points. But in terms of the vision and what we, what I was hoping, we were filming it in our office.
Yeah.
The idea of a separate studio was not even in my mind at the time. So until I was like, right. Until like a few months in, I went, right, we're going to do a studio, which was December.
Yeah.
I suppose, I thought people might be interested, but I wasn't sure where. And I was like, where is the podcast space available?
Yeah.
So I was like, right, well, there's a gap here. So that's when I went and set it up, basically, with Darlington Workspace, which was great. So, it's been an absolutely fascinating journey.
And we've now got more and more of my customers and your customers asking, can we appear on
loads of people. We've got guests coming, out of our ears in terms of what we could do. It's amazing what people want to appear on, and they often sit down and go, never done this before, I'm terrified.
But I think your point about that they've never wanted or never thought to do it, but the fact that we've done it to show and prove that it can work, I think that's been great for them to go, well, actually, if you remember, and I'm still hoping, fingers crossed for you, Sasha Waugh from Outsourced HR, they had a new starter come up, Frankie, and they said, she was mentioning to Sasha, do you know what? I think we should do a podcast. And again, that's business and that's cost. And obviously Sasha says it would be a great idea. Let's budget for it. But I don't think Frankie would have ever thought about doing that if I hadn't invited Sasha on. Because she was like, I never would have thought about that.
Seeing's believing, isn't
it? Exactly. And I think that's what your vision was, wasn't it? If I can show a platform to say, well, look, it's actually working for me and Andy.
Yeah.
Why
originally, when I set up, it was going to be like a self-service thing.
Yeah, because that was the plan. Do that now, don't you? You actually do provide a self-service.
No, we've actually moved away from it.
Right.
That's what I mean. So we set up the self-service. No one was particularly interested because they'd rather have someone like Alina taking care of it.
Oh, lovely.
And filming it and with it being filmed, we can do it. Hand-holding, yeah, absolutely. Right. So we can, originally, yes, the plan was a self-service model. People can come in and do it. But actually, the closest we've come is someone went, we don't want you to do the editing.
Right.
Can we just take the footage?
Right, the raw footage.
Yep. And I said, well, if you bring in this hard disk, buy one of these hard disks, you hand us that hard disk, we record to that hard disk, and they leave with the hard disk.
Yeah, and again, there's the great thing from you, Adam. You're not precious. You're not trying to hold it and go, no, it's mine. You know, you're just being open and honest, going, absolutely, hang on a minute. It's your footage. Yes, you're hiring my space, but it's your footage.
Yeah, so that's the closest we've come to self-service. And then actually I was like, do you know what? We've got a handle on this.
Yeah.
We'll keep it like that. So, it's been a journey, certainly. But in terms of ours, I think back to all of the different people we've had, all of the rare bookshop, like the rare bookshop stuff was great fun.
We must come back and revisit that.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll
obviously,
have to think about
we can do that.
Yeah.
Because, and I think the podcast has evolved.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we did say, look, you know, we'll concentrate on tech. Remember the Christmas episode where we just geeked out on games?
Yeah, we did. Oh, that was fun.
That was really good. You know, about what you do.
I mean, that purely, and I think that's the thing with people in the podcast. What should I talk about? And it's like, I am fascinated with technology.
Yeah, yeah.
And pretty much the team can back me up with that because I've got various bits
typewriters,
different typewriters, old cameras, all that sort of stuff. And but it's all part of the technology thing.
Of course,
yeah. You know, it just feeds in from that because my interest is computer and technology and cameras and all that. And I was like, well, how did the old ones work? And then I'm like, wow, this is really cool because it was very more physical in terms of, you know, it's not noughts and ones, it's physical levers doing things.
The typewriters definitely were, weren't they?
So, yeah, I said to you, take a break. The idea is we're taking a break from the business,
and that's
but
the
we
key.
can talk about tech around it. So normally when we've got a guest in, we always try and bring it back to a tech. You know, what's your biggest challenges in business with tech?
Yeah, definitely.
Or this, that, and the other. But we haven't always completely gone into the tech. You know, we're talking. Just so happened, Carl was a game developer.
Oh, that was
Obviously,
great. Yeah.
But then the FSB.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, that's not about tech at all. That's about how to communicate. And again, the trusted
that's about
partners.
running a business and doing that. So
Still, don't do it.
Yeah, I remember you
Still
saying
don't
that.
do it.
Yeah. So I remember all those sort of journeys that have been, and it's just fascinating. I think our position's a good position for us.
Yeah.
And it might not be everyone's cup of tea.
No, here's
but
an
it's
interesting.
Hopefully, some people's.
No, exactly, man. Here's an interesting question. Do you feel? I certainly feel this. So the answer for me will be yes. So the question: have you strengthened your relationship with customers and new customers? I certainly have. I've branched out, and other people have like, oh, great, like I'll keep in touch now.
I literally sent someone that business in a box episode to a client who was setting up.
Yeah. And you need
listen to this episode.
Yeah.
Like if you're asking what my recommendations are, I went, actually, just listen to the episode. Because it was a time saver for me and this, that, and the other, but also it was a conversational style piece.
No, absolutely.
I want to try that. So I used that as like an example. So yeah, it's allowed me to sort of develop relationships and this, that, and the other. Also, like Jason, Howard, you know, Business Club, Darling Business Club, and FSB.
Great people.
Like I said, we haven't had a load of time to talk. You'll talk to Jason, to Howard, for about, say, 20 minutes.
Yeah, but bless him, he's moving around.
He's flying
absolutely,
around.
Yeah.
So the fact that we were able to go in there, you know, and talk to him, we had Jason in again. See Jason at Business Club
every day,
but he's also
hosting every visit. Sorry,
yeah, but he's also hosting the business.
Correct.
Club.
So you can't really monopolise his time.
Yeah. So it was nice to just have a bit of time with him and talk to him and find out a bit more about his thinking behind it.
Yeah.
But it's strengthened those relationships.
Yeah.
Every guest that's come on have been, you know, great. Jo Long, she was messaging me the other day. Actually,
was she
about
really
something.
nice?
Yeah. You know, so like having those guests on, it's our circle
of course.
People and this, that, and the other. But we're happy to throw some light their way to kind of tell their story and find out a bit more. But B, at the end of the day, if we're enjoying it, that's the sort of focus.
100%, mate.
I mean, I've been waiting for someone to call us like Darlington's Ant and Deck. But that hasn't happened.
The other thing I want to mention is I feel as though when I'm talking in my circle of business friends and friends, I hear them quoting something and I'm like, that's from the podcast. And when I've thought, like, I haven't always picked it up on it, but I'm like, where did you get that from? And they went, oh, actually, it was you, Andy, when you said it on the... And I'm like, that's really kind of you. And he went, no, it's just a good... You know, the one that he used was like, giving is the new selling. They've taken that on board and started to give a lot more, balancing it out as much as I dare say, you know, because obviously you don't want to give everything away. But what they found out is instead of constantly holding their arms going, no, it's mine, they've started to give and they feel actually better for it. So they're giving the information and knowledge whilst they feel as though it's not unusual, but it's like, it's not common, is it? It's like, it feels wrong. I'm giving away stuff.
We talked about it. Networking events was the whole, you know, people come up to you and try and hand you the business card first.
Yeah.
All they're bothered about is that sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
You buy me.
Buy teams. Buy teams.
You buy this thing. And it's about getting away from that. And I think, you know, what we've done with anyone can come and have a look at the studio.
No, definitely.
Anyone can go and copy it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's not rocket science at the end of the day.
And to be fair, though, Adam, you have got a brilliant setup. We've moved from, the cameras, they've evolved.
Yeah, so the issue I was having is I couldn't go and do a photography job.
Correct, because they were literally waiting for that. Yeah, exactly.
So, like now, when I come off this, I'm going to go and take photos. My cameras would be flat.
Because they've been used for here.
You know,
so also from your point of view, I can see there's been a lot of investment. We've got the two lightsabers in the corner.
Yeah, they were expensive, those things.
They were, but what difference it makes.
Yeah, it's just a bit of lighting in the background. That's a bit of difference.
But what I'm getting at, my friend, is that when other people come in to use the studio, they're not just thinking, it's an empty office.
It has a really good impact.
It really does, mate. You've done great stuff with the acoustics, with the lighting. We must get back over there as well. I enjoyed those.
Cuddle corner. Although Jess is calling it the cozy corner, I was like, the cuddle corner.
The cuddle corner now. But no, that's really good from that point of view. So I do get it that when people come in, and hopefully Ben, you know, the Ben Hooch and the thing, they come in and they're like, do you know what? This is professional. I'd like to do more.
Which is what we're trying to do. We've also put
definitely
LED light strips all
yes,
the way
I
around
noticed
the room.
all of that. That's really good.
Half of the man on the, you know, it even goes over the door, look.
Yeah. But even Alina and the equipment has evolved.
Yeah, so Alina's sat in a proper
instead of like
gaming style desk chair thing.
Yeah.
Got a switcher and it's
but
cost
we can
me
do the cameras.
It's cost me a fortune.
No, Jess and Alina have cost you a fortune.
Well, Jess did with the decorating, definitely.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But no, it's been an incredible journey. I think you're right about it's not holding on to things. People can come see it and see what it's all about. The difference, you know, often in business people go, what's the point in difference? Often it's you.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head.
Individual. You know, we can all be doing similar services. You know, it's like, which airline are you going to pick at the end of the day? Chances are people are going to go on price in that instance.
Yeah.
And it depends on what the pricing structure is like and this, that and the other. But that might not be the driver if someone's looking for comfort. So people look for different things and it's working out your place. In terms of what I think it's allowed me to do is nail down HubSpot Media's place in terms of...
never thought of that.
Well, so Dark Stream Space... Oh, we've got Michelle here. Hello, Michelle. What have you got here?
I just wanted to wish you congratulations.
Oh.
She's saying she'd like to wish us congratulations on the 50th episode.
That's very kind of you.
Cheesecake.
That is a cake.
Cheese?
Cheese.
Cake?
The best kind of cheese. Cake.
Oh, Michelle.
There's the knife so you can cut it while you're talking.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
No problems at all.
There we go.
Open up the card, lady. That's very
Let's
kind.
have a look at this.
Oh, bless Michelle. Thank you very much.
It's a cake with like a cupcake with a sparkler coming out of its head.
And a smiley face on it.
Adam and Andy and the Take a Break team. Congratulations on reaching 50. Oh, thank you. 50 years old. No, 50 episodes. Let's hope for many more. Love all your listeners. Oh, it's very kind for all of the listeners.
All 3 of them.
She said all 3. If you can't hear what that was all 3.
Oh, Michelle, thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle.
Cut the cake, mate. I want to slice the cake now.
Let's cut the cake. There we go. I thought we were going to have to do it wedding styly.
No,
you know, like
gosh,
hands on
no.
together, take a photograph.
Can I have half each?
Can I
I'll just have half.
Yeah, there you go. Half.
No.
Just one down the middle. So yeah, I think what it's allowed us to do is, you know, developing Stream Space and working on. I've made the peace sign in the cake. What's allowed us to do, it's certainly consolidated my position with HubSpot because it's allowed me to think about things and then take it on into the business.
Yeah.
I feel that I've got a better... Oh, these makeshift plates, piece of paper.
Plates.
There we go. We'll have to get rid of the crumbs before David comes in later. Picture for the camera.
It's very kind of her.
That's very kind of her. And then, yeah, it's consolidated my position, I think, in terms of understanding the identity as a business is often a big sticking point.
I
but
struggle with that
you
also.
changed with that because
definitely,
you went, right, Adam, WordPress sites, we're not building them anymore.
No.
You are. And that's how we've built that relationship there. And there's been numerous clients when I've gone, oh, they're having, the client's having IT issues.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need an Andy.
Yeah.
And I've go and speak there. So it's allowed me to sort of think about my business and develop it in myself in terms of HubSpoke. And in terms of stream space, it's allowed me to go, right, what do we actually need here in order to produce it properly? Stream space is a very specific focus.
It is.
On
It's
the
focused
podcasting.
on one
That's what it is.
podcasting. Yeah.
HubSpoke Media obviously does the video element of that. But it's allowed me to go, right, we are a media-led marketing agency. That's what we are. That's what we are.
I'd probably also ask, giving you a chance to have your first bite. I've also noticed a change in you when you went on your holiday. You specifically said to me your New Zealand holiday, and I'll ask about your Welsh holiday. When you were over in New Zealand, you actually came back and you went, do you know what, Andy? Actually doing the podcast has made me think. And it allowed you to reflect on the business.
Yeah.
And it allowed you to change and adapt. And as you said, we've adapted because now we have lots and lots of customers. And it's not about the money that I could make out of doing WordPress websites. I could get 100% of my profit. It's not about that, Adam. It's what am I better at, which is the cybersecurity, it's the IT, but where's my trusted partner in doing the website to allow me to still give the customer the reputation, the work level of work that I would do, which is why I found and handed over to you. Sarah Mew is an absolute, classic example of that. Who do I trust to give Sarah the same level of expertise and professionalism that I can do? Let's hand it over to you. And again, my customer is very happy with me, and I'm going, isn't that the right thing?
No, and I'm massively appreciative for that.
Yeah.
And equally, I'm appreciative for the support. Sorry, I've made an absolute mess. This tablecloth needs work before the next podcast.
I'm going to have my bite now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Trusted partners. The problem is, I full honesty, I sometimes look at HubSpot and go, "Are we doing too much?" Right? But I think everyone probably thinks that in business. Because the problem is in the school of thought when you're setting up a business, go do one thing that you're particularly good at and just focus on it. And I'm like, but it doesn't work like that. I wanted to do the photography and videography stuff, but the cameras cost me thousands and thousands of pounds. I had to learn them. I had to do all this. So when I set HubSpoke up, I couldn't physically do any of that because I hadn't got the camera yet. I bootstrapped the business from the get-go. I had to build up. How did I build up? WordPress websites was the lead thing that I started to do. And that's where I started off with that, then got some consultancy work, working within people's businesses and their software and their structures, and then that allowed me to garner the investment money funds to get the kit. So, but what I say, what I think it boiled down to is we're a media-led agency. That's what we are. Now, because I can take, and I think, should we be doing websites? Should we be doing social? Should we be doing? It's very easy to think that, but I'm like, at the end of the day, we take a photograph, like this cake, for example, imagine. We could stick that on a billboard, we could stick that on a TV advert, we could stick that on social media, we could stick that on social media advertising, it could be on the website banner, it could be a website button. All we need to know is the size and shape and where it's going.
Yeah.
So when you boil down to what are we doing as a business, sometimes it's very easy, I think, to be misled and thinking, we're doing too many different types of things. I'm like, but the editing and production of banners and things is actually the same process. We're handling media. Yeah. We're like a production unit sort of thing. We just need to know where to stick the stuff. So, that's been a battle I've personally had with the business. But what it's allowed me to do in talking on the podcast, hearing other people, hearing what they're doing, is allowing me to go, no, that's fine. We're grounded in the media. That's our point of focus.
Of course it is.
And then it's where we take it.
Yeah.
And the fact is, we can take it in multiple places, which is an advantage for the client at the end of the day. I
think so, mate. So a couple of points on that one. I think you're right. I think you do have to concentrate on what you are good at. If we take, remember Howard Little, who's got one guy, he only makes one product for the Norwegian Army, the Norwegian Navy. But that's brilliant from his point of view. But I think, genuinely, every business has to diversify. The problem that I think I see, maybe with ourselves, maybe with HubSpoke, maybe with that, is sometimes people try to diversify too much, and then they're not good or they're trying not to be good, or I don't know, but they're not brilliant at what they attempt to purport to do. I can do websites, Adam. You know I can.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it what I want to do? Am I really, really good at it? No, I think you've got an eye for some of the photography.
And one thing's making a website. The other thing is the design and media that then go on it. And
Yes.
they're actually some of the biggest proponents of a website.
Well, they are, aren't they?
At the end of the day, I mean, we spend our life going, do we move it 50 pixels this way or do we move it 50 pixels that way? Because at the end of the day, it's just how it looks on the screen, and it's just about laying things out that look in a nice way.
Yeah, but you've got an eye for that. I can see that.
Yeah. So we do, you know, Alina's just been doing some school plans, like strategic plans, like prospectus. We've done things like that. Alina's designed those. She's just designed another one, which has gone to print yesterday, potentially. Yes, nodding. Good. And she's working on another plan thing. But that's all eye on the detail.
Correct.
But there's no reason why we couldn't build a website on that way. It's just different tools to make the results.
Yeah, but look at the other side of things. You know, you did say to me that, you know, I'm now, when you're setting up the emails, the website, you naturally got dragged into, can you set up the emails as well? And you were going, I'm not an IT expert.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
but
I was,
you
yeah.
naturally wanting to help
Then
people.
it was like, how do you migrate the emails?
Yes.
And I'm like, I have no idea. Like back in the day, I have no idea. Andy!
Yeah, exactly.
Because the problem is, yes, I can do websites, but then server management, hosting, and all of that. I mean, I've had to learn a huge amount with
You
that.
have.
And you've helped massively, but also just how it works.
Yeah.
You know, terms like DCHP for networking and DNS. You know, what's the DNS and have you purged the cache? Like all this sort of stuff that you're like, huh? What is that? And then it takes you down another rabbit hole. Because the problem is, and I think this is the challenge we face as businesses in general, is if you're running a business that does, say, I don't know, plumber,
Yeah.
you could go on Wix or GoDaddy or Squarespace or any of those providers and build your own website.
You could do.
You could. It may look decent
Yeah.
after you've spent a lot of time on it. It may have stock imagery that doesn't accurately reflect you. It may not.
Yeah,
It may
exactly.
not. It may have phone imagery that you've taken, but it might not hold up in terms of how you're having to stretch it on the screen. You won't necessarily know until you see it.
Yeah.
So you could spend a lot of time doing it. Because I've often, in the early days especially, it's like, why don't I just use Wix? I'm like, go for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Like, you're welcome to.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
your business at the end of the day. So I think when we come back to points of focus, when I was getting into the IT things and there's problems, I'm just like, Andy's just equipped to handle it. And this is the trusted partner thing.
Yeah.
This is what he does. This is his bread and butter. Equally, I know I'm going to have less issues. Like if you know, we joke about Teams, but I'm like, if you get them on Teams, you sort their email out, you do this. I know I'm going to have less issues with that, with the client's IT because you're taking care of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think, again, that's having that point of focus, going, right, here's where I sort of draw the line. Can I migrate emails now? Yes, I can.
Yes, of course you can.
Should I migrate emails now? Well, it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Is the answer. If it's just we're moving, you know, it's a webmail inbox, it's light touch, and
God, I wouldn't expect you to call
you know,
me
if it's
'cause-
your client with one your client person, one customer, I'm like, well, maybe what you have is sufficient. You're just trying to move over to this new,
Correct.
get off your old provider and come
Yeah.
to the new one. So there's times, but I think the biggest step for me was when the business was growing, I knocked on your door and went, I need your help. I need you to just sort all this out. You migrated all my emails for me because I was like, I'm too busy doing the work. I could have done it.
Of course
I
you
could have
done.
figured it out over time. I mean that respectfully. I would have had to do a lot of learning.
Yeah.
You knew it. So what I was paying for is someone who knows it, someone who can just sort it out, and someone who can give me peace of mind, and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, that was the day I knocked on your door, and that was by chance. You went, actually, we need our social media sorting out because we're just too busy.
Too busy.
Same thing.
Same
so
thing.
that's when immediately we started doing that,
Oh, God.
and that was 2 years before we started the
I
podcast.
appreciate the time as well. However, quick story. Went to see a new customer earlier this week, which was great. So he's a single man band, but he's working very well and stuff like that. I won't bore you with the details, but he was using a Gmail account. He'd attempted to set up a Microsoft 365 account, couldn't get used to it, Couldn't figure it out. Too busy doing the work.
Yeah.
What was really, really, really nice of him is I had a long chat with him yesterday, and we've already done some. And he's basically summarised it. He went, "Do you know what, Andy? You've done what I've been attempting to do in the last 3 months in 3 days." And he went, "I've just never thought about using an IT company at all. I'm fairly technical. I think I know what I'm doing, and yet I didn't, and I've just not had the time." But he went, "It was false economy. I thought by doing it myself, I was saving myself money." He went, "I've ended up, having to commit to pay to you, but you've achieved more in 3 days than I've done in 3 months." And he went, "To be honest, you've paid for yourself for the whole year."
Yeah,
And I went, "Well, thank you very much." He went, it's taken me so long to realise I've needed you."
But this is the thing, and this is what you get into business in terms of pricing. So some people go, what's the price for this job?
Yes.
And like photography or whatever, we might know how much the need is on site, but I've got them predict how much editing for video stuff we need to put on the back and all this sort of stuff. But it's like, if it's like your plumber scenario. They could walk in, look at the leak and go, I know straight out. They'll know straight how to fix it. They fix it. It took them half an hour. And they'll be like, it's £120, please.
I'd bet.
Yeah. Right. And it's like, but you're only here half an hour. And it's like, yes, but the adage is basically, but he's got 10 years of experience behind him. He's able to walk in. So when I saw an issue with the website someone was having the other week, I was like, the website's fine. It's just the user, the way it's being, it's not being used correctly.
I know what you mean.
So I'm like, well, I can solve that very quickly. And then they're like, when I update a photograph, it doesn't update on the website. And that's your purging of the cache.
Yeah.
And I went, it has. It has updated. If you've pressed update, it has. You're just seeing an old version.
Control F5.
Yeah. And I was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Control F5. I'll put in question mark no cache at the end of the address. And lo and behold, the new image loads. And I went, it's because your computer's already downloaded the image and the way the server's set up, it's putting it up there.
Yeah.
But I knew that. 5 years ago, I'd be like, there's a problem. There is a problem.
Yeah.
Why isn't this image updating?
Yeah.
And it had. So it's so interesting that at times, and even now at times, people go, oh, well, what's that per hour?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it doesn't work
doesn't
like that
equate
because
to that at all.
I know what we can do in that time, and this is what the cost is. The example is photography. I'm going to turn up to this job next with 2 cameras around my neck. One with a zoom lens on, one with a wide lens on.
Yeah.
I could take wide photos of group shots, zoom lens, people sniping in through the crowd. They don't know I'm there, not in a creepy way, smiling, but you normally catch those normal, authentic moments and you fill the frame with a smiling face. Before, I would have had one camera, 2 lenses. Let's say I had the 2 lenses, but then I'd have to take all my wide shots and then go, wait a minute, swap my lens over, put it in, then go.
But that's just
and
experience.
I'll be there twice as long.
But that's experience. You were also telling me about when you were doing the student disco and you were taking some photographs. You knew where to stand because you're like, flashing lights, that's going to a spoiler. So you knew where to stand, how to stand. But again, that's experience. Right. Because you must have, at some stage, taken some photographs and went, oh, bums, the light's wrong. Yeah. But you'd have reflected why. Now, okay, I get it now. And then over time, you're like, I now know where to stand.
Someone I know has just messaged me today saying, I've just got a camera. He's just getting into it. I'm so excited for him. I really am. He's gone, I've got this camera and I've got this lens. And I'm like, brilliant. Like, I've got a Nikon camera and I've got a 50mm lens. I'm like, that is the perfect start. That's brilliant.
Crack on.
And I said, he goes, I'm just sort of trying to figure it out. And I went, well, here's a good video on aperture to start with. And I've sent it to like a YouTuber guy, have a look. But it's so exciting. But it's, I can walk into any setting now and I pretty much know what.
Yes. Setting.
So I know if I was going to take a photograph of you now, if I had my wide lens on, I don't really want to be going less than 1/60th of a second. Ideally, I want to be up around 100 to stop any motion blur. I know that I need to be setting my ISO at 2000 and I know that I'd want 2.8 ISO. 2.8 aperture, sorry.
Whatever.
Yeah, but I know that.
But you do, because that's your field.
And then I know when I walk outside, I'll probably want to set on a day like today, it's a bit dark, it's not like a bright day, so I'll probably have my ISO set around 300, 400.
Yeah.
I know that my shutter speed, I'll probably set it at like 125 for the group. Group shots maybe a bit higher. And then if I'm shooting a group of people, I know I need to be around F5, F6, F7, F8.
That's all your experience,
depending on
my
how
friend.
they're stood and where they are. But all of those calculations are going on in my head all the time. And that's why when people are like, how much an hour? It
Yes.
doesn't always work
No.
because yes, you might be more expensive. A, you might get the better results. B, it might take you half the time to do it.
100%, my friend. But also, I think the other thing that I've learned and known about that, if you do have, let's just say that person who's like, I'm really sorry, I can go elsewhere. Nowadays, I just like, that's absolutely
I'll say
fine.
the same.
Absolutely fine. I've got no issues to grind with you whatsoever. If you think you can get it done cheaper, please.
Yeah, because
Crack on.
You've got to see your own value.
Yeah,
and I
and
think
that's
I think
the
there's
key.
probably a full episode we could do on that because
Seeing your own value, my goodness
it's
me.
there. But the podcast, coming back to that, it's helped me look at how
It's
we
episode 50, by the
It
way.
is cake and everything.
Gosh,
it
how
helps
good.
me look at where we sit, how we work,
Yeah.
what we do, you know, and
As I said
how we
before, mate,
operate.
I find it very lethargic.
Lethargic. Awesome. Well, what are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing this weekend? Oh, working. Yeah, sadly, a bit of work, but it's good work. It's not to do with
Yep.
resilient work. It's something special I'm doing for my greed.
Lovely.
Bit of a game changing thing that we're trying to do. So he's tasked me to do it. So I'm going to put my tech head in, and I've said I think I can do it. I've just now got to work
That's
out.
always good. Those ones
how.
are a bit exciting, though, aren't they?
They are. There's going to be a lot of head scratching, a lot of, I'm not sure that's working. And then I think it's going to take me a long time to do what I want. But I think the end result's going to be pretty spectacular. I'll share with you what I'm going to do when I can announce it and when I can do
Today
it.
is Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm working from home tomorrow
Right. Okay.
with kids at home.
Of course. Yeah.
gonna go.
It's school week, isn't
Yeah,
it? I think-
it's got all this. So I'm going to be
Holidays.
like, there's the Xbox.
Off you
I'll
go.
be happy with that. Nah,
Definitely.
We'll go out at lunchtime and do some stuff.
No,
But I'm
no.
DJing tomorrow night.
DJ
DJing
in the
a wedding,
house.
and then I've got another wedding that I'm DJing on Saturday. I'm
Oh,
actually
lovely.
I'm taking a step back from the DJing in the autumn.
Right. Any
Just
reason
to-
for that? Just
no,
time?
just to take a bit of time.
Yeah.
Playing rugby and stuff. Like I did a hen party on Saturday, so I played rugby on Saturday, pre-season warm-up game,
Right,
and then
okay.
went to that. It's just very tiring,
I can imagine it is, man.
you know. And I'm just,
But I know you love your DJing as well.
I do,
Yeah.
I do. I get a lot of satisfaction from it.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in the midst of it. Driving home on your own at 1 o'clock in the morning is
But
not
that's what I
always
was
the most
about to say, though, Adam. You again taking that ability to look back and reflect and go, I love doing it, but actually,
Yeah, I'm booked up for Christmas.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fully booked up for Christmas. So I'm just like, well, do you know what? I'm going to take the next few months just to take things easy, focus on my rugby and hub spoke.
yeah.
Not that I'm not focusing on hub
But I know
spoke,
what you mean. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. So I'm just doing that. But yeah, and I'm playing rugby tonight, pre-season
Oh.
warm-up again. So,
Wow,
yeah.
so that's Thursday night, and then Sunday, hopefully a bit of a chill.
Sundays for a steady away.
Steady
I think we're going paddleboarding
Again,
again. Yeah, well,
That's fantastic.
I won't be. I'll be falling off it face first.
face first.
I could do it,
and
on
the
my
kids can
knees.
be laughing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, mate. Thank you for 50 episodes. It's been a
Yeah,
great
no,
journey.
thank you. Can't believe that.
Can't believe that.
Here's to another 50.
Well, let's hope so. I'm certainly committed to keep on doing it. Let's hope.
So you're
when
going
we
to
get
say to 51.
no. Let's keep going. Let's see what we can get. For,
Brilliant, and thank you for everyone who's listened.
Thank you to Alina
been
and
part
Jess
of
for
it.
doing all of that
Alina
for
and
us.
Jess,
as well,
yeah, everybody that's been involved. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
to Michelle for the cake. That was lovely.
Yeah,
I didn't
cheesecake.
even know that.
Cheesecake.
Cake. None in my lifetime.
Cheese and a cake, cheesecake. Right,
Thank you very much. Better go. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.